White identity in America is rooted in ideology, not biology, as evidenced by the historical evolution of whiteness. Embark on a revealing exploration of U.S. states where the white population exceeds 90%, uncovering the historical, economic, and societal factors that contribute to this demographic landscape. From the legacies of early settlers to the shadows of racism and, at times, white supremacy, delve into the intricate elements, shaping homogeneity in these regions. Join us on a journey through the nuanced narratives of legacy, opportunity, exclusion, and the undercurrent of white supremacy, shedding light on the untold stories behind states with a predominantly white population. Nebraska, where 86% of the population is white, boasts diverse ancestry groups, with prominent German, Irish, English, Czech, Swedish, and Polish communities. Noteworthy for hosting the largest Czech American and non-Mormon Danish American population nationwide, Nebraska, in 2016, led the nation in welcoming refugees per capita. However, the state is marred by a troubling trend, being the only one to observe a rise in its black incarceration rate since 2006. With racial disparities persisting, Nebraska ranks 10th nationally in the disproportionately high black prison incarceration rate, raising concerns about equity within its criminal justice system. Montana has an 86.7% white population, primarily consisting of European Americans, with Germans leading and complemented by farmers of Irish, Scots, and English descent. This diverse ancestry contributes to the state's significant white population. Montana, known for its breathtaking natural beauty, abundant outdoor activities, strong community bonds, and a more relaxed pace of life, offers an appealing lifestyle. However, challenges include limited job opportunities, economic diversity, isolation from major cities, and harsh winters. Iowa, with an 88.7% white population, traces its predominantly white demographic to historical factors such as early European settlement, limited immigration, and its rural character. The state exhibits a rich mix of ancestral origins, with prominent proportions of 35% Germans, 13.5% Irish, 8.2% English, 5.8% Americans, and 5% Norwegians. Germany's political repression and economic hardships after the failed revolutions of 1848 prompted migration abroad, with Iowa's fertile land attracting German and Irish farmers. The state's appeal lies in affordable living, strong communities, natural beauty, low crime rates, and a stable economy centered around agriculture. However, limited job opportunities, lower educational attainment, fewer cultural options, and conservative politics are identified as some drawbacks. Iowa ranks 25th in the country for hate crimes and holds the highest racial disparity in its prison population. Utah, with an 88.7% white population, is characterized by a predominantly Mormon demographic, where approximately 70% of population consists of immigrants from Britain, Canada, Denmark, and Norway. Originating from religious persecution in 19th century, these settlers shaped the state's initial demographics, resulting in a predominantly white population. Utah's high birth rate, influenced by cultural and religious values in Latter-day Saints Church, contributes to its demographic prevalence. The state's rural character, with a substantial population in smaller towns, further supports the existing white majority. Unlike states such as California or Texas, Utah did not witness significant immigration post-settlement, solidifying its enduring white demographic composition. Utah ranks 21st in the country for hate crimes. Idaho, with a 90.7% white population, attributes its predominantly white demographic to historical settlement by Americans of English and German ancestry. The state, rich in white supremacist history, unfortunately, continues to grapple with high instances of hate crimes. Its predominantly rural nature, with a significant population residing in small towns and rural areas, contributes to a less diverse environment than urban counterparts. Idaho's strong religious identity, with a substantial portion identifying as Protestant or Mormon, further skews the demographic towards whiteness. Unlike some western states, Idaho has not experienced a significant recent influx of international immigrants, solidifying its predominantly white population. Wyoming, with a 90.7% white population, derives its predominantly white demographic from historical settlement by British, Germans, Italians, Basque, and Greeks in 1870. The cowboy state's limited major urban centers and economic opportunities have contributed to this demographic composition. Despite being nicknamed the Equality State with an official motto of equal rights, Wyoming has a history of racism, highlighted by being the first to pass a hate crimes law. While strides have been made in civil rights, Wyoming acknowledges its imperfections in fostering diversity, emphasizing the ongoing need for inclusivity and equity. West Virginia, with a 90.4% white population, finds its predominantly white demographic rooted in the history of Scottish, Irish, and German settlers. The state's isolation, marked by a stagnant population and limited immigration, contributes to its lack of diversity. Historically, the rugged terrain discouraged plantation agriculture and slavery, aligning with West Virginia's anti-slavery stance during the Civil War. Despite this, racial attitudes mirrored those of the broader South. Presently, the state grapples with racism complaints, primarily in employment, while the Eastern Panhandle witnesses a growing Hispanic population. Business leaders acknowledge the advantages of diversity, signaling a potential shift in the state's demographic landscape. With a 91.3% white population, New Hampshire's demographic is primarily composed of individuals of European descent. New Hampshire's racial homogeneity poses challenges for newcomers, fostering isolation without established communities. This lack of diversity complicates employer efforts to recruit and retain workers from varied ethnic backgrounds. Systemic racism persists, evident in disproportionately high arrests and incarceration rates for African Americans. According to the New Hampshire Department of Safety, African Americans face nearly 3 times the arrest rate and over 5 times the likelihood of imprisonment compared to those of European descent. The state ranks 3rd nationally in racial pay gaps, with workers of color earning less and encountering fewer promotional opportunities. Consequently, African Americans in New Hampshire endure a higher poverty rate, 1 in 5, surpassing any other demographic group as per latest census data. Vermont, with a 91.3% white population, features a significant French influence, constituting the largest ancestral and ethnic group, including Irish and English contributions. Vermont's demographic homogeneity is rooted in historical immigration dynamics, often framed by the push and pull theory. In its history, there was no compelling pull for African Americans, no jobs, cultural attractions, or significant African American presence. Vermont lacked the plantation economy that drew African Americans elsewhere. Post-Civil War, economic constraints prevented former slaves from reaching Vermont. Industries favored low-wage Irish and French-Canadian labor over African Americans. Migration was easier for these groups. Italians, Greeks, Poles, and Swedes also contributed to the diverse labor force. Presently, Vermont's rural landscape lacks large factory farms, recruiting Latino labor. Despite being rural, Vermont boasts robust civil rights laws, making it an increasingly attractive destination for non-white individuals. Maine, with a 92% white population, reflects a heritage of European colonization, particularly influenced by English, Scottish, and Irish immigrants, who have significantly shaped its demographic composition. Maine's prevailing white demographic is rooted in historical racism, white nationalism, and supremacy. Distant from the slave trade hub, Maine's economy post-Civil War excluded African Americans from jobs in forestry and industries. Discrimination in factories, anti-miscegenation laws, and racial tensions deepened segregation. In 1912, the eviction of Malaga Island's black community serves as a poignant example of the pervasive historical racism and exclusion that marked Maine's past. This legacy, combined with white supremacist ideologies, has contributed to Maine's enduring whiteness.
Please like, comment, and share this video, and subscribe our channel. Press bell icon to see updates on our latest videos.